Welcome to D&D chat number 3. We promise we're gonna get on a regular schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. So this one will definitely be another longer one. Okay, so since we last talked to you, what has happened in the IGFG universe? Well, I'm gonna let my DM go first, but I do want to address one quick thing before we do, which we no longer, as of this past week, have giggles in our kit page.
nope.
And that's stuff that there's reasons behind it that we might not go into because it's not fully D&D related. And for Dexter Wondering, yes, I got glasses.
Yes, he looks very snazzy.
Yeah, so DM, why don't you begin our recap?
All right, let's see. Where did we leave off? I think Vatican's had the vending machine. So I think
Yeah,
that's really where we got to go.
yeah.
All right. So our crew, the Void Reavers, were not yet, but the Void Reavers were tasked with basically, the Void Reavers were basically tasked with taking Tucker to the infirmary down below the, well, not the infirmary. It's basically an emergency department that is located underneath the infirmatory. It's off limits, top secret. And basically, Batticus, for some reason, he wanted to keep this vending machine of energy drinks, so we allowed him to keep it. They won't let me have a 10 minutes. But, so, from there, we get down to the infirmary, and Rolios, one of Tucker's friends, an NPC, and Fenrir, went to the rooftop with Brobot and Dexter to try to fix the electrical issues, while down in the infirmary, Decaron stayed with Tucker to keep an eye on him as Jack and Triton performed their surgical procedures on Tucker, whose lungs were filling with not just blood, but the black liquid he was leaking from his face. Just a second. What's up?
Can I return with the light?
That's in a couple minutes. But then, from there, we ended up essentially, let's see, Triton and Jack do what they got to do. Everybody, ends up meeting back into the waiting room, and they announce that Triton and Jack have done what they could, but Tucker might not come back the same. They don't know if they're going to get Tilly or if they're going to get Tucker to remain out of this. And the reason for that being was because Tucker was sent into a rage. And that rage form is deadly. That's in a few minutes, honey. I know, but not yet. It's in a few minutes. So then, Triton gets very visibly upset that the Soul Stone has gone missing. And the reason it goes missing is because the Seeker and the Weaver decided that was something that didn't need to be around anymore because it was too powerful for what it was. And for somebody like Tucker and Triton, it is very deadly to both children. And the reason for this being is that a soul stone is made out of basically the blood, tears, suffering, everything that goes into trauma, um, through physical things like blood, or perhaps you've died on the chair or wherever it was you were that this thing was, at. And the only way you can make them is through basically thousands of years of development. It can't be just one person. So Triton's family lineage has had this whole family trauma, just tree essentially of past kings who have shed blood and tears to be who they were, to conquer all of Neptune. And he was one of those people that was tortured in that chair by his father. So part of him also lies within that stone because it formed inside that chair. Now, they hide it, and Triton wants it because he wants to be able to save his brother, and he would give anything for that. But the problem is if he were to use it, he would pass away. And he, again, would do anything to get his brother back. And in spite and upset, he realizes he doesn't have access to this anymore. So he goes to the room and he tells him, I need that bag and I need his cube. Why don't you tell us what happens from there?
Is it my turn with the white room?
Both of you.
I'm having a turn.
Yep, your turn now.
So,
Mhm.
from the couple coast, there was just the couples in this way. We get attacked and, you know, this song is basically, trying to hope, but that's the wrong. So, in Toko's recovery, a the vote reports need to complete this poll to the asphalt plane to get Tuckle's wife back, which will ultimately get Tuckle back. But to do that, they have to go through 3 trials. Now, the first trial was by the Weaver, and we were in, yeah, those are Weaver, and to the coffee shop trial. Now, I will say this, we barely passed it, just barely. I mean, we had to solve customers, and one of them, main Jenkins, well, let's just say, even in the actual play, people could die. And unfortunately, due to bad shenanigans, old man Jenkins ended up in a fireplace, and, well, it's no more. So, we barely passed the tunnel and we got the first part of the wave. Yeah. And then, okay, so how we handle our D&D group is the Weevil Richie is our main DM for every session, and on occasion I, Declan, will step into my persona, the sequel, and DM a session. And that's where we are this week. So, in the actual play, I have a, let's say, pizza joint, a Italian restaurant that the road reports and taco needed to solve a few pies. Now, they successfully solved pies, all thanks to death for the pizza stuff. Now, I had these two customers, a Glimmer and Glendale, and, Taco was my manager in this restaurant, but Balakis was, maitre d', whatever color. So he had to take this little old lady and her granddaughter to the table. And what does Balakis decide to say? Ma'am, did your husband die recently? Dude. She said yes and walked him with her cane. And then Tucker had to intervene. With, do you want to describe how you intervene? Richie, do you want to describe how you intervened?
So basically, I decided that no, because it's going to rain soon. But basically, I decided that because Batticus had had his little freak out, and the first thing he says to this old lady when he meets her is, "Hey, is your husband still kicking?" Mind you, this is a little old lady. This is the first thing he says to this woman. Not yet, in a few minutes, honey. And he offends her so much so that she hits him with her cane. And I, as manager, like 6 minutes, and I decided that I was going to intervene by then going up to the table, comping one of their pizzas, and giving them a coupon for the next time.
Yeah.
Because I, in the real world, have done a lot of customer service jobs. And my first reaction was like, oh, shit, I'm going to have to give them fucking a good deal for them to not be talking shit down the astral plane and for us to get, this part of the wave, we gotta make sure all these customers are satisfied. So I gave her a coupon, and then I comped one of her pizzas.
Yeah. Now, also from this bottle, I had the glim double get run around the restaurant, and she runs into Bagger, who, because she runs into him, she gets knocked down to the ground, so close. Now, Battle Kiss is not the best at dealing with kids. I mean, he dropped hit one of four senses, but instead of
Now, I'm going to interject real quick. He drop kicked this girl so hard that her head spun really quick, and we almost thought she was unalive because I actually had that clip on my TikTok, but we thought that she was unalive because he flew down from the roof, drop kicked this student into the ground, and her head went one way. And I was like, guys, she did. And everybody panics because he and he's like, wait, no, no. I read it wrong. He was like, I miscounted, and so she didn't unalive, but she did end up on the ground, and they did lose some money for that.
yeah, no, this goes through a tantrum, and what does Bagus proceed to do? Help her out? No! He decides, I'm just gonna step over her and just annoy the problem, the problem, and Toggle yet again has to intervene. And how do you do that, Toggle?
With the dogs, is that what we're talking about?
Now, how did you calm down the small girl that was crying on the floor?
So Tucker panicked. And for those who don't know, Tucker is the main character of my book, which is the universe we're in. And he sees this child sitting on the ground, having a fit, and he goes, Dexter, cannoli, now, in the cannon. And he puts Tucker shoves a cannoli in one of Dexter's cannons. And Dexter shoots it directly into this child's mouth and stops her from crying because she's got food in her mouth. And half of me was like, oh my God, wait a minute. What if like this panic just leads DJ to be like, well, she choked and died. But that's not what happened. She is great. She is happy with her cannoli.
Yeah.
She goes back to this table. And thankfully, that cannoli was enough to comp, these people. But being the manager while Baticus is running around doing whatever it is he feels like is challenging because I had to think fast. And that was the first thought I had was cannoli cannon. Now. And he shoved it in, went directly in her mouth. She went back to the table all happy. And then we were like, okay, the worst of it is over. But that wasn't the case.
No. So after that, three werewolves appeared and combat time. Okay, so this combat system was three werewolves, all with 75 HP at the beginning. Okay, so it was couple back in the dental to, fight. And, they asked, do the wolves have any weaknesses, any weak spots? It was the front left paw, and it was underneath the front left paw and back left paw. Now, we saw this all by tapping one of the wolves in their paw. Like, okay, that holds, and it takes 10 hit points off. No, like 12, I believe I separated to 63. That's what the combat continues. That's what it's able to get one wolf down to like 8 hit points. Like, okay, not bad for, one attack, which was really 3 attacks in one, but yeah. Now, they managed to get one down to, 55. And, the other one was at, like, 73 or 25, I believe. Now, what does Babacus do? So, he decides to tell his team, hey, I want to tame one of these dogs, one of these wolves. And to do that, he fed one of them pepperoni. But, oh, contrary, your friend, you just used it back up to 75, and on top of that, gave an extra 15 pepperoni hit points for a good total of 90 hit points. How do you react, Turtle?
So I had decided, I told Batticus, because in my head I was like, all right, the only way we're going to get out of this is if Tucker can negotiate with Batticus, because Batticus wanted these. Mind you, we're mid-fight. I can't remember even whose turn it was. He goes into the kitchen, grabs that pepperoni, comes back and gives it to the dog. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why? Why? And he was like, I want to tame it. I want it. And I was like, every fucking time there's a vicious creature, you just want it. Okay. So I tell him, I was like, all right, Batticus. What, honey?
I'm not ready.
So basically I said, hey, Batticus, we can keep one of them as long as we can keep them alive. We'll go in, or we'll get rid of one. We can keep the other. So Tucker, me, uses shape water, and in doing so, mind you, and I'm still getting flash for this. Tucker's crying because he doesn't want to have to do this. He doesn't want to hurt an animal. but at the same time, he also doesn't want to lose his life. So he uses shape water to basically create a bubble around this wolf's head and drown it because he has no other choice. He doesn't see a way out of this otherwise, because otherwise it's going to take a while to get this thing back down to where it was. And Batticus gets mad. He's mad. He's like, "Why did you do it? I wanted it." And I was like, "We'll get the other one," which didn't work out. Because I used Ray of Frost again. Because this thing bit my leg and tried to take it off. And mind you, Tucker has a fake leg. And I was like, "Oh, hell no." So I used Ray of Frost to freeze its mouth shut with my hands. Like, just grabbed it by the snout. And then DJ was like, "Okay, cool. We're going to set a timer now because you froze its mouth shut, so it's going to die." And I was like,
yeah.
And while he's counting, Batticus is panicking, and it's just noise. He's freaking out. He's freaking out because Tucker is going to unalive this dog. I'm sorry, I shouldn't even call it a dog. It's a vicious wolf trying to unalive us, and he still wants it. So I freeze his mouth shut. DJ's counting down 5, 4, and I'm like, "Please no!" And I'm like trying to punch this thing in the face, trying to get it to open its mouth again because it's frozen shut. Like, "Please don't die!" And then it died.
Now, what we need to remember is that every time one of these wolves dies, its Sarah Espen goes to the next wolf with you kill 2, you have 1 left, and you basically got all the Sarah Espen into 1 wolf, and it's mad. You killed its hat, and now what happens? Bacchus is like, "No, we can't kill this one. I want it. I want it. Yeah, long story short, this wolf died completely and over. It's dead. Bacchus is not getting a dog tonight. And, they passed the travel, but at what cost? Because now you have a crew member upset, and you have 1 more travel yet to go. So, Lucci?
To be fair, I did what I had to do. Am I proud? No, I'm not. But I tried to explain to the rest of my team that this leg was like $400,000 because this leg is made of carbon fiber, but it's the same carbon fiber you send off into space for like satellites and stuff, but it's also infused with black diamond, and courtesy of NASA. And that thing costs about $400,000 for them to make because it's neurotech. It works, it moves with him. So if he wants to do something, his leg moves accordingly because his brain says, "Hey, we're doing this." So it's an expensive fucking leg. And here we have Batticus, just make another one. Yeah, let's go home and tell all of NASA what happened. And then have them make me another one. I'm going to be gimping around for a while. Then you're going to have to you're going to have to carry me to every class, to every bathroom trip.
Yeah.
Because God forbid they're not gonna have another one right off the spot.
No.
And he still didn't understand. It was still, but the dog, the puppy, you killed it. And I'm like, okay, cool, but it tried to kill it. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Who do you call him puppy?
Literally, Gavin, my son literally just said, "Who do you call it a puppy? Like that thing tried to kill you."
Yeah. And allow me to foreshaddow a future session. So, on October 20th, we're doing a Halloween kind of send off for a character that's no longer in the campaign because the player no longer in the campaign. And when we do this, those several are coming back with vengeance, and it's aimed at Tucker.
To be fair, he could have probably taken him on by himself. I'm not gonna lie. With the stats that he had, even for a level 8, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Because Tucker is what we call a blood hunter. And he can attune curses to certain weapons. And if he had had his wave, oh my god,
yeah,
everybody would have been done for. It would have been bad. But he's a sorcerer and a blood hunter. And the reason I chose those two things was because it's very hard to create your own species in D&D, which Tucker essentially is. He's an Orcana
yeah,
from Neptune, and I chose I think it's blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I chose Blood Hunter and Sorcerer because it made the most sense. And when I did this, I didn't realize how powerful he was going to be. So again, when I played him again for this week, I underestimated again because I forgot. Uh, I am going to really quick jump back about a year because the first time I used him was because we were missing a player in a campaign for book one. And in book one, they were all tasked with basically, well, a long story short, they needed to take out the Kool Aid Man. I know that sounds weird. I swear it'll make sense. But anyway, the Kool Aid Man's jar, the liquid that's in there was filled with basically souls. And that's how he was filling his jar and how he was continuing to do the work that he does. He's essentially immortal. And one of the characters, C4FU, Tucker's robot, got trapped inside gelatinous cube, essentially, inside the Kool Aid Man's, liquid because he can harden it. And so he tries to heat it up, and he can't get out, even still. So my friend Justice goes, "Okay, we're gonna have to use Tucker because C4's fucking stuck. He gonna die." So they decide that with Tucker, they're going to have him use his wave to freeze the glass. And I was like, okay. And so they do this, and I was like, all right, cool. You've frozen the glass. Like, wait a minute. You're a very science-based person. C4, if you heated up that glass, it's tempered glass. If Tucker froze that glass, the Kool-Aid Man exploded. And I was like, damn. And he had over 400 HP. And they took him out by essentially freezing him or heating him up, freezing him, and just kaboom. So I forgot again how strong Tucker was and underestimated it when I froze that wolf's mouth shut this last session because then I thought about it and I was like, that was stupid. I should not have done that. That was not helpful. But most of his spells are water based because he's a Neptunian. So it was what I had to work with.
yeah, but it was the same for me. I knew I had a hunch that Tucker was a powerful character, and when she decided to use, shape wobble and frost touch, I was like, Okay, so he's, level, you have to remind me, but
Oh, we're level 8 right now.
that applies to Taco as well, right? Or,
You mean I actually, so Tucker's level because the other group was like 11. I had to tone it down. I had to go in and D&D Beyond and actually lower him down to an 8. Mind you, that's him toned down and he doesn't have a weapon like that yet. You know what I almost did? Because he has Curse the Blood Hunter.
yeah.
I almost went and grabbed a pizza cutter and almost used it as the fucking weapon to attune something to it. I was like, wait, I can't because he wants to keep it, and I still fucked it up. I still fucked it up.
No, no, even at a level 8, we're all level 8. Taco is OP, and
I didn't mean to. When I gave him Blood Hunter, I was still a new DM. I was still like, okay, this sounds cool. It sounds like what he's about. And then they used him for the first time, and I was like, oh damn, I messed up. I was like, I fucked up. I didn't realize how powerful I made this character. I was like, holy shit. And they were like, yeah, Blood Hunter's no joke. A Blood Hunter is crazy because basically, imagine like, okay, so basically a Blood Hunter. Now imagine, let's say, basically, he has curses where you can attune them to a weapon, and if you cause damage, he gains life force back from all of that. And this goes on per round. Mind you, he can still deal damage. It's necrotic damage basically to the other people each round. So each time it goes around, if they can't, figure a way to conquer that, it will lower their HP regardless, even with everybody else attacking. So I thought I did a good thing by giving him Curse of the Blood Hunter, but apparently I made him OP. And when I give people the option to use him, it's one of those scenarios where, like, if one of the players isn't there, then I'll give him to you. But if, everybody's there that night, then you don't need him. Trust me, you don't fucking need him. Like,
yeah, well, I will say this. We use him because, Dick was out because, hey, I'm not gonna middle game and say, oh, I'm gonna play my character gain experience while also I'm controlling the combat. Like,
yeah.
no, I ain't gonna do that. But
I forgot how strong he was, and I wanted to. That's the last person. If I had to say in the future, if I would allow Tucker to be used, I'm not giving him to Baticus. He is not allowed to roll for that because no.
yeah,
He's gonna read all the stuff and he's gonna be like, "Ooh, what's this do?" And he's gonna be like, "Tucker's going to use Curse of the Blood Hunter on my mech suit," and I'm gonna be like, "Technically, he could because of the wording. It's any weapon." So if he wanted to, he could be like, all right, Tucker, Curse of the Blood Hunter my suit right now. He would be unstoppable. Baticus would be unstoppable.
Yeah, no, like, now that you tell me that, the next time I DM, I'm gonna do my best to limit Taco because, you freaking, you could have taken all 3 out at once and just said, oh, this session is over. We're in an hour. Yeah, I know. I'm not. Yeah, I'm DMing for a list of false hour of our Halloween session that because we'll probably gonna do a double session that night. So,
Oh yeah, that's right, because it's a third. Ooh, so should we start earlier?
yeah, honestly, I'd say we could, but
All right, because what we'll do then is we'll start with yours.
yeah,
Because then it'll give me time to also not just DM but get my kids to sleep.
yeah, no, I got you. Yeah,
Um, but yeah. So again, if you guys think Tucker's bad, just wait until I create a stat sheet for Faye. Because Faye, she is a tiefling from Saturn, but there are other little quirks or perks you get. I'm so for anybody who doesn't know, the entire universe, the whole homebrew, there are certain things that make it really specific to this universe. Like certain people from other planets, depending on what they already get from their stats as like certain races or racial bonuses and stuff like that, you get different things added to that as well because you're from another planet. So Faye, being from Saturn, uh, with some of the things she does or can do, it's going to be interesting to have her and Tucker together at the same time. And I don't know if that's going to happen, but I definitely have that. I've mentally planned for that. So that's one stat sheet I do need to get done because you guys haven't seen too much of her yet and
yeah.
how she interacts with everybody. But she is very much the mother hen of the group because the boys are they're themselves. One of them's literally a convicted felon trying to get redemption and is going to school at like this NASA testing facility in school because for also those who don't know, most of it takes place on Earth at a place called White Sands Testing Facility at I believe they're in, yes, New Mexico. And they have a school that they've built kind of on campus there for these kids. And or intergalactic youth really. But
Yeah,
so a lot of it takes place there in the future, about 10 years from now, actually.
yeah.
12, actually. Yeah. What?
Is it my turn?
But so giving these characters perks, there is going to be a session where at one point I'm going to give each and every one of you a random character to play.
Mm.
And those characters are going to probably be Tucker, Falaya, Triton, Rolios, and Fenrir and Kabawal. And I'm
Mm.
very excited to see because I'm going to give Baticus Kabawal because that energy is a lot like that. He would have fun with Cobble Wobble because Cobble Wobble will definitely be is definitely the chaotic person that Baticus needs to do stuff with because in that same one that they took out like the Kellogg's man or not the Kellogg's man, the Kool-Aid man,
Yeah,
they had to take out a bunch of Kellogg's characters. And one of for each and every one, Cobble Wobble decided that for some reason he was going to take parts of these characters, like Lucky the Leprechaun's hat, Count Chocula's head, yeah, and wear them stacked on top of his already very small head because he's a deep gnome, so he's literally like 4'11". So he decided that was what he was going to do. He wanted tokens, and he was keeping different body parts, I guess.
yeah. Now I was about to say, I wonder how Copper Whopper would play because it was originally planned that we would have had his trailer play accessory, but that because Copper Wobble's your husband, right? Or is that somewhere else I'm thinking of? Richie, you're on mute. Yummy.
Sorry, I was actually replying to said player because he just asked me why I was asking about Thursday and Friday, and it was for this, as well as Cobble Wobble, if you will, just had it. It will have his birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday to him. But I want to know because I want him to play with you guys because I think he does a voice for it too, and it's a lot of fun because Cobble Wobble sounds very much. He's got a not a high, scrilly, like streaky voice. He's got a little bit of a deeper, like not like Baticus, but more of like a gruff tone to him, if you will.
Okay.
But Hobble Wobble is a lot of fun to play with, and I think Baticus and him are going to cause some real havoc together, and I'm very excited to see that.
Yeah, so basically we'll open that, it goes well, but it's gonna, what it sounds like it's gonna be chaotic. It does.
It usually is with Hobble Wobble, but he does get stuff done. The chaos is organized chaos, so it does make sense. Whereas Baticus is more random.
Yeah,
Like Hobble Wobble gets the job done in some of the most gruesome ways possible. But I feel like Baticus is definitely more of the spontaneous chaos, if you
yeah, I gotta.
will.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's gonna be good to see how Kabal plays, and I can't wait for that Halloween session. So yeah, and that
Me too.
that's gonna be good for me personally because I get to celebrate my day with my favorite people. Yeah,
Aw,
yeah,
BJ.
and that gets as well. Yeah, you
Doesn't
did.
even know Cobble Wobble still regards him as a better player to play with.
But anyways, I'd say that's all we have to cover. So, guys, we will see you, I'm gonna say, in the next week or two. And, we will catch you up on what we're doing. Have a good week. And to all you, hope you will a natural for me. Bye, guys.